Hawaiian shirt night tonight. I've been seeing a lot of things pop up lately about particular businesses that are doomed to fail here in the near future. And the ones that float to the top really quickly are like Blockbuster, kind of for obvious reasons. Very few people go out to rent a movie anymore. You can download it online, or Netflix. The post office comes in on a lot of lists about, is the post office really needed anymore with email and everything? And with the way packages get delivered, do you really need the post office? Do you really need to get the mail every day? Just heard a comedian say, really, you pay your bills once a week. Why do you need to get your mail more than once a week? The other things, Borders, for obvious reasons, who buys books anymore too when you can get them online? That's got to be a tough one to be in. There's a few others that come in there that some of them surprised me. Sears, Kodak, obviously Kodak, who shoots film anymore? It's very difficult to find a photographer that uses film actually. So I started thinking about some things and how that applies to my profession, and I started thinking about our architects on the endangered species list. If you look at what's happened to us in this economy, it's been pretty devastating to the profession. You know, in a real loose poll around this area, it's pretty much accepted that about 60% of the profession's out of work here. It may have leveled off a little bit, but it's certainly not coming back the way it was. And it's going to take a very, very long time. But is that what's really going to doom the profession? When you look at it, one, architects are really relinquishing a lot more of their work to other entities. With the design build forces out there, a lot of work now is being done by contractors and by subcontractors, and you can do it without with one architect on staff in a general contractor's office. You see a lot of general contractors leading the way in doing BIM models as opposed to architects doing BIM models. That cannot be good for the profession. The other thing that was kind of interesting, I have a friend who is an attorney who just went out on his own, and we were talking about his business and how it's set up, and I just keep thinking, you know, for an architect to go out on their own, their startup costs are astronomical, basically. If you look at the equipment they have to buy, the software, and even the physical space that they have to do it in. Yes, it's much smaller than it used to be, but you're going to have a lot of initial startup costs, and all the marketing that you have to go through, and it's mind-numbing actually to think about going out on your own right now. But we were talking about his profession, and the thing that came up right away is that one, they always get a retainer. And I said, you know, we're lucky if we can get a retainer 25% of the time. We just have clients that say, no, we're not going to pay it. End of story. And that's it. And it's like, well, we don't even bother negotiating for it. It's like, okay, they're not going to pay it. The other thing is with the attorneys, this one in particular happens to work hourly. Everything is hourly, and it's down to the 10th of an hour. He explained to me, some attorneys actually only go down to the quarter hour. So if you do something for 5 minutes, you charge him for 15 minutes regardless. He goes down as far as a 10th of an hour, which would be 6 minutes. But that means whenever he reads an email, he charges a minimum cost just to open that email and read it, whether he does anything with it or not, which is astounding. I think about all the emails we get. If I got $10 for every email I opened, I could stay in business by just opening emails. The other thing is they have a minimum. To make a court appearance, it's a minimum of 1 hour. Whether they're there for 3 minutes in front of the judge or they're there for the full hour, they charge an hour, period. And it's like, we tend to work a lot more on what they call flat rates, but we call fixed fees, where you get a fee to go to a meeting and you don't know if that meeting is going to be an hour, if that meeting is going to be 15 minutes, or if that meeting is going to be 4 hours. Whenever we work on a fixed fee, we have to figure out a way to make it work, to make it advantageous to our hourly rates so that we can live within budget and make a profit on it. The other kind of shocking difference, which we all know, is that his hourly rate was probably twice what the average highest hourly rate is for an architect. And his philosophy is to go out on his own. You can make twice as much money and work half as many hours. And I just laughed when he said that, because in my profession, whenever you go out on your own, it means you work twice as many hours for half as much money, especially in the beginning. You are having to do everything. You're doing all the work. And I looked at his startup costs, where all he needs is an office big enough to hold a meeting in, and all of your other software that you're using is pretty much the standard Microsoft Office software. So you don't really need to go out and buy about a dozen other software programs to run your business. So the moral of this is, now that I'm an architect, how am I going to make money? It's like he never became an architect to make money. Become an attorney if you want to make money. And it was interesting because my friend that I was talking to said, well, you can't get rich being an attorney either, especially in family law. But this is coming from someone, again, whose hourly rate is at least double the average in my profession, and everything he does is hourly. So going back to, are the architects doomed? Are we on the endangered species list? We may well be. I think we need to very seriously look at the way we do business, at the way we conduct our business, and really how we set up a lot of these things. So more food for thought there. Hopefully we're not on the endangered species list for too long. Hopefully we can figure this one out and make some sense out of it before we do kill ourselves in the process. Later.